The end came after I had been taken out on a long drive by the chauffeur. I still enjoyed seeing the countryside and did not realise how cold I was until I got home. I went to bed and never got up again. The press got wind of it somehow, and I remember my nurse reading sentimental tosh about how the real Alice was lying dying, surrounded by souvenirs and memories of Alice in Wonderland, little pottery figures of the white rabbit on the mantelpiece and so on. My real memories were of Reggie and my 2 boys, and the thought that perhaps I might be back together with them soon. I remembered then the verse I had written for Reggie when we'd been married 8 years. So we, through this world's waning light, may hand in hand pursue our way. Shed round us order, love and light, and shine into the perfect day. That had always been our aim, and now it was coming to an end. When I was gone, there was much talk in the papers and magazines. I was compared to Dante's Beatrice and Keats' Fanny Brawne and many more. Not quite true, but I like to flatter myself that without me, Mr. Dodgson, Lewis Carroll would be long forgotten. The Alice books are the things that will be remembered. But the end of my story first. Carroll found it hard to keep up Cuffnells. It became an hotel for a short while. Then came the war and the army took it over. The Second World War, as it was called, killed my beautiful house just as surely as the first killed my beautiful sons. I hate wars. Oh, how I hate wars. The bulldozers came in and knocked Cuffnell down. Bits of it got taken away. The fireplace to the inn in Bank, the windows back to the builder whose family had built them, and the plants from the garden got spread around Lyndhurst. Maybe some of you have some of them in your garden. Cuffnells had gone, disappeared from the landscape as if it had never been. And I have done the same. Forget Alice Pleasance Hargreaves, born little. My ashes lie in the churchyard with those of Reggie, but nothing else of me. Best to remember Alice of Alice in Wonderland, the young girl, frozen in time as a 7-year-old by that strange and brilliant man, Mr. Dodgson. Remember the White Knight and the man sitting on a gate. Both of them are supposed to be portraits of Charles Dodgson. It's a bit sentimental, of course, that was one of his faults, but brilliant and memorable and full of astonishing invention like the man himself.
Of all the strange things that Alice saw in her journey, this was the one that she remembered most clearly. The mild blue eyes and kindly smile of the knight. The setting sun gleaming through his hair and shining on his armour in a blaze of light that quite dazzled her. The horse quietly moving about, with the reins hanging loose on his neck, cropping the grass at her feet and the black shadows of the forest behind, as, with one hand shading her eyes, she leant against a tree, watching and listening in a half-dream to the melancholy music of the song. I'll tell thee everything I can. There's little to relate. I saw an aged man sitting on a gate. Who are you, aged man, I said, and how is it you live? and his answer trickled through my head like water through a sieve. He said, I hunt for haddocks' eyes among the heather bright, and work them into waistcoat buttons in the silent night. And these I do not sell for gold, or coin of silvery shine, but for a copper halfpenny, and that will purchase 9. I sometimes dig for buttered rolls or set lime twigs for crabs. I sometimes search the grassy knolls for wheels of hansom cabs. I heard him then, for I had just completed my design to keep the Menai Bridge from rust by boiling it in wine. And now, if e'er by chance I put my finger into glue, or madly squeeze a right-hand foot into a left-hand shoe, or if I drop upon my toe a very heavy weight, I weep, for it reminds me so of that old man I used to know, whose look was mild, whose speech was slow, whose hair was whiter than the snow, whose face was very like a crow, with eyes like cinders, all aglow, who seemed distracted with his woe, who rocked his body to and fro, and muttered mumblingly and low, and as if his mouth were full of dough, who snorted like a buffalo that summer evening, long ago, a-sitting on a gate.
That is what you should remember. The books, the poems, the joyful nonsense. Forget Alice Pleasance Hargreaves. She is just another of the thousands of women who lived in this place in its past and made it what it is.
It's late. It's late. It's time to go.
Yes, I'm